Now, the rest of the story.
Welcome back to the rest of the story. And we're going to be doing an update on the hay down at the valley. The hay really benefited from this rain we got. I don't quite yet know how many inches or the total accumulation that we got, but well, when I got water up here at the buildings like that, I'd say it was enough. The rain gauge isn't up down here yet. It's the landowners. I just kind of use it right along with them. And I want to limit walking out in this stuff too much because it just rained last night. And it's amazing how fast your jeans will get soaked, which in turn runs down your boots, gets your socks wet. But it was a few days. Today is Monday. I did that last update, well, panic update video down here. Was it last Tuesday or Wednesday? So with the rain that we got, it seems like this stuff really took off. It's all pretty well headed out. And well, this just behind the shed here is, I mean, I can tell it's grown inches from what it was when I was down here with the four-wheeler. The part of the farm that I worry about the most, outside of, you know, holding water, but the part of the farm I worry about most is actually the bench ground, which is where I gave you that quick panic update. A couple of trees around the buildings that are going to have to go. This part of the field is what I was worried about the most because I interseeded it with, well, grass master and trickled on, was it 5 pounds to the acre of reed canary. And I was reassured with the mix that I was putting in, I wasn't going to see much growth pretty much at all last year because a lot of the stuff was going to grow and root out, which is pretty common when it comes to seeding down pretty much anything. So you can see, still got plenty of the cracks in the ground, but it's, you know, if it was up to me, this is my field road, but through here, it's still spotty. I shouldn't be seeing as much dirt as I'm seeing, but there is a bunch of life down there. I'm just not sure if it's really going to amount to much. A lot of this stuff, once you get walking through it, I can't compare this right here because this is a high area spot, but this is actually a water out of this whole field up on the bench here. This actually had about an inch or two of water in it the last time I was down here. But with the field being cracked out yet, which is almost, it looks like it's sealing up a little bit. It does allow it to take in as much water as it can. The stuff that I seeded last year, one of the things that I saw that I wasn't crazy about, but I had absolutely no control over, is the fact that I seeded it after planting, wasn't it? Like April, May. And this part of the field actually looks pretty darn nice, and I'm not about to walk too far through it, but it's not all headed out just yet. It's getting there, which as far as I'm concerned, it can. Taking a note from Mr. Pandy, taking your grass crop, your hay crop off, which this is grass, there's no hay or alfalfa down here. Took care of that last year with the spray I was spraying. But when these all head out and you get that head on the plant here, my camera's picking that up, that does actually add your overall weight of your material. Granted, you can start arguing quality. I'm going for quantity, and guess what? This starts to add up. So that's why I say when it's headed out, I really am looking for this stuff to be mature, because it gets sold on a by ton weight basis. So yeah, it looks nice. Curb appeal is huge. So I mean, if it's nice and green through the whole bale, like 99% of my hay last year was, which I think I got to turn around because I'm already starting to get soaked. It's just that much more I can sell. And The only thing that I'm low-key looking at, watching out for, is it's the 6th or 7th of June, or I think it's the 6th. 6th of June. I believe it was the 5th of June last year when we came down here and made this. The big difference this year is I'm making it with, I'm making 100% of, excuse me, breakfast does not want to stay put. We're going to be making 100% of it. This field, is going to be made also. Last year it wasn't, so that did affect getting the bottom and the neighbor's place done. And we were able, with 2 machines at the time, we were able to do it. And we started at what, 8 o'clock. We were pretty well done by 1:30. Yeah, that's asking a little much from me at this point in time. I don't know how that's all going to pan out. I can cut around the clock. It's baling it is what I'm not worried about. Running the rhino rake down here, I'm not worried about. Running the rhino rake on all those waterways that you guys probably didn't quite see me baling because the video locked up. Those areas, trying to keep ahead of 2 balers, if we were going to start baling right behind the rake, that would have had some difficulty, because the rhino rake in those tight quarters does become a little unhandy, which in turn Dad ended up raking with the 258 and the 4020. So I'm looking for, well, I had 225 round bales, 60-inch bales off of 2/3 of the farm. So this is another, is it over 40 acres here? It's not as heavy because, like I said in the video, which my storytelling is just all over the board. I understand that. When I seeded this stuff down, we had a dry spell throughout the month of June. Where even our corn was actually curling up, where it was trying to preserve moisture from how hot it was, which is also in turn why we were able to get the hay made down here like we did. The downside to that was, if those seeds were able to germinate, which there was enough moisture in the ground when I put them in the ground that I am confident they were able to germinate. The problem is then when we had a month of dry weather on an interseeded crop like that, the mature crop, you know, that has all the established roots, which stuff looks nice, was able to, I'm sure, monopolize on all the moisture in the ground, so that my new seeding that I had gone through and seeded probably suffered. I'm not sure yet 100%. My backup plan for this particular field is go through after 2nd or 3rd cut, hopefully 3rd cut, because I want 3 cuttings off this down here. I'm fully to the point now. I did mention that to Dad and Ryan. The next dry spell we got, I do want to prioritize this down here because I got to get it coming back. That doesn't take away from the urgency of having to get my brother's. He's got 15 acres of pasture that we need to get cleaned up so we can have access to the rest of that farm for letting the cows out. 2 balers. I mean, it's rolling the dice of how many nice days we have. We can go and at least knock out those 15 acres quick. That's also, we're 6 miles from the home farm, and that would be, by the time you go through the pasture and everything, you're probably talking, let's just say 7 or 8 miles from here. But this is probably going to be a 2-day job, even with 2 balers, because if we have Dad here where Dad can run the rake for both of us, and neither Ryan and I have to worry about raking, we actually be able to take out a pretty healthy chunk of this in the first day, especially seems how it's June and the sun stays out until about 10 o'clock at night, as opposed to when we had 2 balers in the past 2 years in September, and it would be getting dark at 7 o'clock at night. And once that happens, the dew hits the ground. I am not the type of person that wants to rake anything and leave it sit till morning or sit till the next day, because in this part of the country, when the dew comes out, it gets underneath that windrow and it rises up into that, and then that hay, the grass, the material in that windrow insulates it and doesn't allow it to dry out, which just creates a headache for me. So in turn, we try to only rake as much as we can get baled in one day. Now I do have to go up and adjust some things on the 569, primarily the tension on it. I'm not happy with how soft it was making the bales, so I'm going to max the tension out on that one, just like I do with the 566. And I got a pickup tooth to clean up, so I would like to take you down to the bottom. I really would, but I'm already wet from my knees down, and I have a bunch of stuff I have to work on throughout the rest of the day yet. But we are somewhat behind last year as far as growth. I mean, it looked like this. I don't know if my camera's really picking that up. It looked like this the 1st of June last year, and what was it, the 1st of June here, approximately, when I brought you down here last time. And it didn't look this nice. I think that rain we got was the last kick in the butt this crop needed. Now, the thing that I might be doing different this year, and I'm not talking costs of everything going up, but I like doing the liquid nitrogen because the liquid gets pulled down in the roots quicker, which in turn you get a quicker turnaround on your growth and your input, as far as getting the second and third crop fertilized after making it. This year in particular, I may have to really consider doing another pass of dry fert. Just going with urea or AMS. I'm trying to call some other people, other places, and for some reason they don't want to call me back. I don't know if it's just because the prices are changing hourly or what. So that's what I told was happening. So I'll cross that bridge when it gets here. I'm still planning on doing a two-pass spray plan. So if I end up going with the liquid, waiting, they say about a week after you cut it, which to me means as soon as I get the hay off this place, I'll go through and spray it, fertilize it, and then about a week after that, get another week of growth in so any of the weeds and the grass that's there can come up. Then I'll come down and I'll spray it with weed killer and radiate. This new radiate product that they have out promotes, come on, come on, oh, dude, it promotes the plant growth, so hopefully the grass itself will benefit. I was hearing 6 inches of benefit of growth just by using the standard radiate, because it's a PGR and it is, in the past, like people are using it on their hay crops or their grass crops, which I was seeing a benefit last year. That was the first year I did it. An additional 6 inches of growth on your additional growth on your regrowth. I wanted to do a trial this year on my first cut. I was going to do a couple of diagonal cuts across each of these fields, and then have Ryan bring his drone down and actually see if I benefited from that at all. It didn't happen, because any day that I had where I really could have come down and done that, I was planting. So, and then we didn't get the sprayer in the gator until a week after we were done planting. So this new stuff, it's the new radiate. I don't know if it's Max or Pro, or I don't know the name of it, but they couldn't get it to me to do the trial. So I have the trial jug up at the farm yet, which is the same stuff I had last year. But then going forward here for the rest of summer, I should be spraying the other stuff that's going to be promoting actual plant growth, not just root growth like the original radiate. So I don't know what kind of benefits we'll see from that, but hopefully lots. So I gotta let you go. Talk to you guys later. Take care, take it easy, keep in touch. Talk to you later.